Hello and welcome. In this video, we are going to be completing the application by implementing the edit and the delete functionality. I apologize for the audio problem in the last video. Um, it just happened randomly with my microphone, and I will, get around to re-recording that part. But I want to just finish this series first, and then go back to that. So let's get started with the edit functionality first, and then we will do the delete. Okay. So and then we will have one other video in this series in which we're going to refactor the code in a more organized and we'll try to do like the object-oriented way of doing it. Okay. So let's see. Okay. So one thing that I've been noticing in the application before we get to the edit part is that we get these double slashes whenever we like redirect. So if we like go to new contact is fine, but if you like redirect, you know, then it goes to this double slash, which is so let's take a look at our to reload my editor. Okay. So my application is running inside of an Ubuntu server, which is running in a virtual machine in VirtualBox. So I have to authenticate because this is a remote SSH connection. Okay, and if you like want to know how to set this up, I already have a video on this on my channel, so you can figure out how to do this from that video. And yeah, so we were here and we were looking at the redirect part, right? So basically, I think that have a when we look at base URL, we have a trailing slash here, and when we pass the path, we already have a slash there, right? So we can actually trim this. Okay, so this is trim, and let's say if we want to trim the slashes. So it's going to, because this has a trailing slash, so we can just trim the slashes from the path, so it doesn't like, make these doubles. So let's log out and try and log back in. So test.com. Yeah, so now it's fixed. So yeah, it's been bothering me a little bit. So I want to like, get rid of that. So if this is fixed, now let's look at edit. Okay, so if we go to our dashboard, and down here we have our edit link. So let's it should go to the base URL, and let's say context/edit.php, and refresh, hover over. So right now this file does not exist, so let's create it. So we'll say context new file edit.php, right? And what we essentially want to do is what we did for the create file, right? And we'll say edit, and here, say like the name of the. So let's say edit John Doe, and here we will have the old values, right? So if you take a look at this, it's going to go to a file called update.php, and here we will, add values. So let's do value equals John. Hard coding these, but then again we do this. When we implement it, then we will get the values from the database. Okay, so let's keep copying these. So let's say John example.com, and this is going to save, and this is going to cancel, and we'll get out of it. Okay, so let's take a look. Go back, refresh, edit. Okay, so we are getting this. These are hard-coded values. These are not coming from the database. And if we cancel, we can go back, right? Let me just fix this cancel. So basically, we are using this URL. We need to like be careful not to pass a slash in front of it. Okay, so this is looking good. And let's go to edit, and let's fetch the record, right? So here we're going to require the file on, let's say, underscore dir, say get out of there, and we'll go to db/contact.php. Let's get the contact.php because we were saying get context for user. Now we can get the contact by user ID. So we'll say function get contact by user. No, get contact by ID. So let's say int contact ID, and let's get our video. SQL is going to be select static from context where ID is equals to ID, and let's create a statement. Statement is equals to video prepare, and we're going to pass the SQL through, and we'll say statement find param, and then we'll find ID to the context ID that we passed in, then we'll say statement execute, right? And once we're done, we'll say the context is equals to statement fetch all, which is just going to fetch one record and pass fetch j. Let's return the context. Okay, so this should work. So if we go back to our edit page, and here after we require this file, we'll say get contact by ID, and yeah, I forgot to do something here. When we send this request, we need to pass the ID of the contact through, right? So here we'll say ID equals, and we will put the contact ID here. Yeah, it should be like this, right? So now if we try and edit it, so it's passing the ID through, right? So let's go to edit, and here we can get it by contact ID is equals to $_get, because this is going to be that request from ourselves in the form, and we'll say ID, let's pass the contact ID through. It should give us a contact, and yeah, I forgot the semicolon. Okay, so we got the contact. Now we can just replace this with the values from the database. Right? So let's say contact name, and here the same thing. So contact name, and here we'll say contact phone and contact email. All right, so this should be it, right? Yes. Here we also need to add a hidden input to indicate which contact we're trying to do. So input type hidden, name equals ID, value is going to be the value of the contact. Okay, so contact ID. So I think we're looking good here. Yep. So what we do now is create a new file called update.php. Update.php, right? And here, what we can do is basically do what we did inside of store, but a little bit fancier. So let's go here. See this. Okay, we got the helpers, we got the contact, and here it will say update contact, right? And we pass the contact ID, which is going to be say contact ID and the input, and we can get the contact ID by going to the post and ID, right? And once this is done, we'll just redirect back to dashboard.php, or we will redirect an error, and this time it will go to edit.php, right? And let's get that out and we'll say ID equals contact. So let's run this and see if we are getting anywhere, right? So this is getting these values should be coming from the database now. So if you cancel and see the chain, so these are you see chain do and this. So when I save, I'm going to get some errors, of course. Yeah. So update contact. This method does not exist. Let's go and create that. So if we go into our contact.php, here we'll say, let's copy this, right? Say update contact. And in this case, we're getting the contact ID here, and this is the data. And let's say we'll write the update statement. Let's say update contacts, right? And let's say set name equals name, email equals email, and we're supposed to put commas here. Equals where. Yeah. So actually, the keywords of SQL, I like to make them capital to separate them from the other column names and the value, the placeholders. So say where ID equals ID. Right. So I think this should do. So when we prepare the segment, and we'll bind the name, email, phone from there, and the ID is going to be the contact ID, and this is going to be this ID. Right? So this ID is going to get the contact ID, and I think we're good. We are going to execute the statement, and if it works, it works, right? So let's do a refresh, continue, and I think it worked. So if you go into john@example.com and let's say John1 changed, let's change the name. Let's say Josh Dober. Save it. It becomes Josh Dober. And let's make sure that the phone number can be changed. Let's say 456 instead of 789. And it becomes that. So we are now successfully updating the records. Now let's look at how we can go about deleting a record. Right. So that's first I want to style this so that it shows up on the same line. So I think if we add a class here to display it inline, it should work. So let's say not from this one, the dashboard, the delete button, right? We'll say class is equals to t dash inline, right? And let's make this button a link. So it's btn dash link. How about that? Let's refresh. So there is still a little bit of space. So let's inspect this. I think it's a little bit padding because it's a button, right? So if we take a look at this and remove this padding, yeah, we're just going to remove it from all of there. So let's add padding 0 and say margin 0. Still a little bit down. Why is that? Okay, how about we give this the same classes too? So we'll say bdn link. Now what does it look like? Yeah, it's somehow getting worse. Okay, so let's bring this in a little bit and see what's going on. Right, so if we hover over here, so this has this much padding. The padding looks okay, but still they're a little misaligned. Or are they? I don't think that they're misaligned. Right? And another thing that we can do to make it look a little bit better is we can bring in Font Awesome. So let's do that. Let's say Font Awesome CDN. So yeah, let's go with, I guess I'm going to use 4 because I know the names for all the classes that it has. So let's go with Font Awesome for the latest 4 version 4.7. Yep. So say copy link tag, right? And we'll put this in our header file, right after Bootstrap. And inside of our dashboard, what we can do now is we can, instead of saying heading, we can say fi.fa-edit, right? And this one can be fi.fa-trash. So let's refresh and see what we get. Yeah. And how about we say text dash danger to make it red? Yeah, so this is looking better. Okay, now let's go about deleting it. So in order to do that, we need to submit this form to its URL, right? And after that, we'll say contacts slash delete.php, and we'll add hidden input here. Input type hidden, and its name is going to be ID, is going to be contact ID, contact ID. Right. So let's go ahead and do this. So what we want to do is we want to delete this. And so we need to create this file. Let's say new file, delete.php, right? So let's say session start, and require the helpers. Let's say bring this in because we only need to make a few changes here. So we got db contact. Here we'll say delete contact. Okay. Got the ID from the post, and we don't need to pass the data here. Redirect to the dashboard, and in this case, we'll just redirect error back to our dashboard. So we'll say PHP. Okay, let's refresh, and we don't have the delete contact method, but we go ahead. We can create this from here. Okay, so let's say delete contact int contact ID, right? So global here, say SQL equals delete from contacts where ID equals ID. Let's prepare the statement. Let's pass SQL in. Okay, then we'll find the param. So we need to find param. We have one, which is ID. We're going to find it to contact ID, and then we'll execute it. Statement execute, and we don't need to do anything else. And let's see. Wait, click refresh. Yep, it's deleted. Click it again, it deletes it again. Okay, so let's create a new one. And this is the phone number. Let's John at example.com. Save it. Get this. We can edit it. Okay, so let's say John Dillinger. I was thinking of a character. So John Dillinger. This is the phone number. This is the email. We can edit it, and we can delete it. Right. So well, I guess this is it for this video. We have looked at how we can edit and delete contacts, and there are a few things that I would, like to improve. Like, we should add some authorization because a user should not be able to update the contacts and delete the contacts of another user, and which they can very easily right now. Like if they go ahead and change the hidden inputs inside of like an edit form or a delete form, and then they will be able to delete it. All they have to do is like guess the ID, and we don't want that. We don't want to allow that. So let's look at that. Do some refactoring in the next video, and I will see you then. Thank you for watching, and remember to subscribe to the channel, and I'll see you in the next one.